Hello, Aries. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aviana. This is Aviana's Ascension, and today we are going to do a reading for you for the month of September. This is a general reading, so just take what feels right for you and leave the rest behind. If you'd like the most accurate reading, check out all of your placements. That way you get a well-rounded view of what's going on for you this month, okay? Let's get into your vision. It was very weird. I'm not gonna lie. It was weird. And I tried to I was like, okay, spirit, let's just is there another way we could say this? Or it was just weird. Okay. So I saw you guys it was kind of like you're like a kind of hippie lady kind of girl, and you had a big old pregnant belly. Okay. And yeah, it was very and I heard it's a beautiful morning. I don't know that song. Well, I know the song, but but that song was playing, and you were just sitting and then you were in a field with beautiful mountains, in a very beautiful nature setting, and it was just you were just vibing, having a good time. And then the baby was born. I didn't see all that, thank God, because I'm not into blood and medical things. But it's you had the baby, and then the baby's just being held up, and there's the sun. So it was very much kind of like Lion King, Circle of Life kind of thing. And then it got a little dark, and it was then the hippie lady was kind of it was just she was moving weird, and it was just really dark. So let's talk about it. Okay, while I was shuffling, I did see the Empress card, and then in the Oracle deck, I saw fertility. So some of you guys could literally be pregnant or giving birth, having a child, you know, something like that. And if that's not you, right, because we all have feminine energy, and fertility isn't just about giving birth to children, but it can also be about giving birth to new ideas and having new projects and things like that. So I definitely see whether it's a child or an idea, you're giving birth to something, you're feeling good about something, it's coming to fruition for you. But where it's getting dark for the children and the baby situation, there could be some postpartum happening. You could also get really in your head about the baby and just the security of it, being worried about the baby, postpartum, depression, things like that could be happening. And if it doesn't have to do with an actual baby, there could just be you're getting your ball rolling, say you wanting to start a new business, or go towards some sort of new endeavors, or whatever this idea could be. I see it going well, and then I see you getting in your head about it. Okay. I just feel like there's something that means so much to you, and you get so excited about it, but then there we go. But then you get it almost is because it's becoming real, it's even more scary. There's just a lot of maybe overthinking, or just questioning, am I making the right choice? Is this the right thing? Is that the right thing? It just felt because it was so real and in your physical reality now, it's okay, what I wanted is happening, but it could also go away, or there's these other factors involved in it. So that was interesting. We will see what comes through. And that's a normal process, whether that's having a baby or having something else you consider your baby. That's a normal process, because there's so much love, passion, excitement. There's always the other side to that coin. So this might be a good time for grounding, meditating. I would journal about the fears you might be having, or the more uncomfortable symptoms that come with having something exciting in your life. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. So let's get into the cards and see what's going on for you. We're going to do a Celtic cross today, and then we will, yeah, this is an interesting energy. Okay, we're going to do the Celtic cross, and then we'll see what's at the bottom of the deck for the overall energy. Okay. So bottom of the deck, we do have the Three of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is fierce. This is like a time of celebration. You are moving on to a new chapter in life. I definitely see like some sort of growth, some sort of big accomplishment is coming through, and there's a lot of celebrations. Like this could also be like buying a house for the first time, getting a big promotion, graduating college. Like it feels like there's a major life change that everyone's really excited about. For some of you, it could literally be having a baby. Okay, we do have the Hierophant, Four of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Four of Wands. So some of you guys could have recently gotten married, okay, or maybe you just moved in with your partner. Maybe you just got engaged. It's like there's the deepening of a current connection here. We do have the Queen of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. So I feel like there's a lot of thinking going on when it comes to your home, the long-term goals that you may be having, your family. Like you're really getting serious, getting settled down with something. And I think everyone's really excited about it. So that's fierce. Okay. Could be dealing with an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. But let's talk about it. So, okay. Your current situation is the Five of Cups. So even though the bottom of the deck was really positive, and maybe this is going to take a turn for us throughout the reading, we have the Five of Cups. So there's been something that has been disappointing. Something didn't pan out how you thought it was. This could be something that happened in the past, and maybe like as you're going towards these new chapters in your life, maybe it's kind of reminding you of like, well, I was excited about something before and look how that turned out. It could be like kind of a reminiscent energy. But yeah, this is the time where it's like you're either going to focus on the things going wrong or you can focus on what's going right. You know, you're either looking at the glass half full or half empty. That's up to you. But there's definitely been something that has been hurtful, painful here. So let's see what's going on. Tell me more about the Five of Cups for Aries, please and thank you. All right, we do have the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So that tells me that there could have been like something you were investing in, whether that's like going back to school, starting your own business. Like the Eight of Pentacles is being really focused and really investing your time and energy into something that you want to bring to fruition, getting really focused, maybe even being a student or just trying to learn something new. And with the Page of Cups, this is definitely an energy of someone who was not as experienced, but you had the eagerness and you wanted to learn. But something didn't work out here. Okay, for some reason you were disappointed in just going towards this new idea, towards this investment. This could be like maybe you didn't think something would take as much work. Maybe, if you are in school, maybe the grades aren't exactly what you thought they were going to be. You could have faced some setbacks, like not to say that you can't go towards this new thing, but maybe there's just more you need to learn and maybe you weren't prepared for that. Okay, let's see. We do have the Ten of Wands, King of Swords, Three of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you're wanting to walk away from something here. Like maybe you're like, okay, it turns out this wasn't exactly for me. Yeah, something's not working out for you here. Tell me more about the Eight of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Five of Cups. Ooh. So yeah, we have the Hanged Man, Six of Wands, Nine of Pentacles. I feel like you thought something was going to just come so naturally to you or be really easy or that you were going to really thrive in a situation. But for some reason, it's not panning out like that. So you're really having to adjust your expectations. It's like you got humbled here. Like you thought you were going to, really ease into something and it's just not happening that way. It's not to say that this isn't right for you, but You're having to really be okay with being a novice and having to learn. That's a good position to be in, but when you're not ready for it, it can definitely, hurt your ego a bit for sure. Yeah, I feel like you're questioning your capabilities now. But Ten of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, you are going to go towards that success, that abundance. It's going to work out for you, but it's going to take time. You have to, there's more you got to learn here. Okay. So the challenge here is the Five of Pentacles. So yeah, you're definitely feeling very disappointed, very neglected, maybe abandoned. There could be like some health issues or financial issues here. For some of you, like if this is going back to school, you're like, okay, this is really hard and it's expensive. So I just feel like there's a lot of reasons to walk away from something, but I also feel like if you're passionate about it, if you really want something for yourself, then you can't walk away just because there's a few obstacles. All right, you could also be feeling really alone, especially if you like are traveling for something, or again college. If you left home for school or you're staying in the dorm room, it can be very isolating and very like jarring to just feel like a fish out of water. Like that's what it feels like. Tell me more about the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, we have the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Cups. I feel like you're just feeling like it's you versus the entire world. And I just feel like you might be feeling very emotional, very alone, and you're just not sure how to navigate that. Like you're like, I don't know how to make friends. I don't know how to adjust to this new cycle of life that I'm going through. Yeah. You could be feeling like you're just like no one gets you, like you're off in your own world. You're very like just daydreaming and things like that. Yeah, I feel like you really want to walk away from a situation. You really want to just kind of like cut your losses and move on. That makes me sad. All right. So, what you should focus on is the King of Cups. Okay. So, Spirit is saying they understand, you're going through a hard time right now. It's a big adjustment, but they're saying to get your emotions in check. Okay. Of course, it's an emotional time, right? Like your life is changing. Maybe you feel like no one around you gets you. Maybe you feel really alone, whatever the case is. But I do feel like this is all happening for a reason. I feel like you're being challenged for a reason. It's time to kind of get out of your comfort zone. But with the King of Cups, this is about being aware of your emotions and aware of the external things, but not letting yourself drown in it. So it's like, how can you sit with your emotions but not drown in them? Like journaling is a really good way. Spending time in nature, meditating on certain things is a good option. But know that you don't have to go down the rabbit hole with your negative thoughts. You don't have to, throw your hands up and just let the waves take you and just drown in all of it. Like you're able to sit with those feelings but not let them take control. They don't need to override everything, right? You need to learn how to be yourself and also feel these feelings without feeling like it's the end of the world. I feel like that's definitely what we're needing here. Tell me more about the King of Cups. All right, we have the Devil, the Two of Swords, the Empress. There's that Empress energy again. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fear, negativity, doubt surrounding this energy. And that's understandable. It feels like you're, like I said, a fish out of water, like, or what is it? A small fish in a big pond, something like that, whatever. But you can feel like that while also knowing that you're safe. That's what I feel is needed here. It's an energy of knowing that you're loved and supported, knowing that everything happens for a reason. So have faith in your ability to navigate this. Of course it's hard, of course it's uncomfortable, but in moments of difficulty and discomfort, what is your go-to? Is your go-to to run away? Is your go-to to go back to where you're comfortable? Is your go-to to isolate? Recognize how you're responding to these patterns, because I feel like this is happening so you can find different ways to respond rather than react or feel devastated. How can you stay in your power while also accepting that something is hard? You know what I mean? And with the Empress here, I don't know, I'm just feeling like some of you guys might benefit. Maybe there's like a mother figure, an older sister, an aunt, a grandma, somebody you can talk to, right? Because I do think that you should stick with what it is you're doing, but I think you might need a little extra support while you're figuring out how to not give your power away, right? So that's a skill that you're developing right now. So while that's in motion, allow yourself to lean on certain people, friends, mentors, people that you really look up to or that you trust. So that way you don't feel like you're having to do it all on your own. That's why we have a village. That's why we have community, because we're not meant to face every single thing by ourselves. And you also might benefit from tapping into your own feminine energy, right? Listening to your intuition, your emotions, doing more self care. This could also be like doing something creative, you know? And for those of you that literally you're having a baby, like, of course it's a scary time, right? Especially if it's your first, but, just give yourself a little grace. We're all doing this for the first time together, so it's okay. All right. So in the recent past, we do have the Strength card, Leo energy. So in the recent past, you really were having to be brave, be strong, be courageous. This is about balancing your higher self and your human self as well, right? Your animal instinct, your human self is like, what do I need to do to survive? I need to be comfortable. I need to, make sure I'm okay. And your higher self knows that everything is okay. The universe is always going to take care of you. There's no need to go into a low vibration of fear or, like me, I need to survive. So I do feel like there's something that you've overcome recently. And I just feel like you're trying to bring balance to just the different aspects of yourself. It feels like there's been a lot going on for you. So I understand feeling a little defeated or feeling overwhelmed. I get it. Like, it feels like you have a new beginning here. You had to walk away from some things there. You're having to balance out your emotions. Like, it's a lot going on. So I'm not surprised that it's a little hectic. All right, tell me more about strength. Right, we have the World and the Five of Wands. Okay, so there could have been a situation where there was a lot of conflict or arguing amongst people. So maybe that's why, yeah, you've had to walk away from a situation and now you're kind of doing something on your own because it wasn't working out how it should have. Okay, that makes sense. I would feel very confused and very kind of conflicted as well. It's like you had these plans that something was going to work out so beautifully, and you had a great partnership, a great friendship, or this is your family or whatever, a work environment, and it ended up being very toxic. It was not the vibe. Very toxic. So now you're having to do something totally on your own, and you were not anticipating that. So now it's like very stressful. But again, know that it's like when you chose to walk away, like, obviously you don't know if everything's going to work out or whatever, but you had enough faith in yourself or enough faith to know, well, this doesn't make sense. So if I know that, at least I'm going to just get the ball rolling and do what I need to do. So maintain that faith. Okay, you're going to be okay. The universe is going to take care of you, right? Yeah, we have the Three of Wands, the Fool. So it's like you took that leap of faith knowing the universe was going to catch you. That's what the Fool card is all about. And what's cool is the World is the last card in the major arcana, the Fool is the first. So you are definitely leaving one cycle and starting a whole new chapter, a whole new beginning here. Yeah, some of you guys could be getting a divorce. Or just, you can't kind of save face with this anymore. So you're like, I have to just cut my ties. I have to walk away. I have to do what's right for me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a possibility with this situation is the Seven of Cups. So, yeah, this is just, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of options. All right, but what I also love about the Seven of Cups is it's about getting clear on what brings you fulfillment. So that way it doesn't seem so overwhelming or confusing to go towards what's right for you. I just see that there's going to be a lot of options for you. And, this is not the end of your story or anything by any means. This is just the beginning. So, really get excited about the idea of having options and being able to decide, okay, I'm restarting, so what do I want to make with this fresh start for myself? That's the exciting way, glass half full way of seeing this. And of course, it's overwhelming to have a lot of different options and having to decide, okay, I left what I've always known or where I was at for a long time. So now I have to just have this, whole new world in front of me. That can be overwhelming, but it can also be very exciting. Tell me more about the Seven of Cups. Yeah, we have the Four of Wands. So, yeah, there's just like a lot of confusion when it comes to the family unit. It's almost like you're trying to decide, do I really want to leave? Do I want to stay? Do I want to commit to this? Can I trust this person? Is this a balanced relationship? Do we communicate? There's just a lot to take into consideration. And I think you should do that. Like, having a family unit or a long term friendship or whatever kind of connection, you got to really ask yourself what you need so you can decide, is this what I really want in the long term? And you're allowed to take your time to figure that out. Like sometimes people be rushing into connections and families and it doesn't make sense. But to me, it's not something to play with, especially if there's children involved or marriage. Like these are big things to commit to. So allow yourself to take your time to ask, is this what you really want? There ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. So in the near future, we do have the Knight of Wands. So to me, the Knight of Wands is about having a good time. So maybe, there's a lot of stress that you're dealing with. You're having to really make a lot of big decisions and focus on yourself. But you can also kind of take a break by having a good time. There could be some traveling going on in your near future, or you're just focusing, again, kind of like with that Seven of Cups. You're like, well, what actually makes me happy? What brings me fulfillment? What excites me? What am I passionate about? That's what's going on in the near future. You're getting clear on what lights you up, on what you actually want to pour your energy into. And I like it. I feel like you're going to start being a little bit more selfish. Like I feel like you really tried to make something work with somebody here and you ended up having to walk away to really, salvage yourself and your peace. And if this has to do with your family, like your kids and things like that, like it got bigger than just you. And so now I feel like it's going to be all about you. Like you made the hard decisions, you made the sacrifices. So now what do you want to do? You know? Tell me more about the Knight of Wands. We have the Magician, the King of Wands, the Six of Cups. Yeah, I just feel like you are hightailing it out of negative situations, out of the past. For some of you guys, that could involve, like going on, like if this involves children for you, you could be going on vacation with your children or just trying to do things that are more fun with them so that way they don't feel the weight of what's going on around them. And also, I think that would be therapeutic for you as well. But with the King of Wands, the Magician, like you're remembering your power. You're remembering that you're all that in a bag of chips. You can make anything work for yourself. It's almost like you reflected on, like, well, now that this is a new start, what do I want to do? And you're like, I can do anything. I'm very adaptable. I'm very capable. I can take anything on that I want. I have everything within me and around me that I need to succeed. So why would I limit myself? I like that. This is a very like it's like Stella got her groove back, like you're feeling good again. You're remembering who you are. And the thing is, I don't think you ever felt bad. I think it was just kind of disappointing, the reality of the situation, but once you decided, like, okay, I got to walk away from this, I got to cut my losses, like that was it for you. And you're like, well, this is what we're going to do and I'm going to stand 10 toes on it. Fierce. Okay, so your advice here is the Queen of Wands. Okay. I like that we've been seeing so many wands because that is your energy. They're just reminding you, Aries, to just stay in your power. Uh, Tapping into that feminine energy again might be beneficial for you, being more creative, intuitive, kind of tapping in with your emotions, but not letting them consume you. That's a big thing because the feminine energy knows how to flow, right? You got to flow with it. Don't hold on to it or block it. Okay. But the Queen of Wands is also very attractive, charismatic, energetic. So I just feel like they're saying tap into the inner bad bitch within you, right? Doesn't matter your gender, none of that. But like whatever makes you feel good, whatever lights you up, that's what you need to be doing. Okay. Because I feel like you've been very serious, very focused. You've tried to make something work, tried to bring things back together, but it didn't work. And I feel like you put yourself and the things that made you feel good on the shelf for a long time. So now it's time to, just check back in with Aries and see what is it that makes you feel attractive? What is it that lights you up and do that? The Queen of Wands is also really good at shadow work. So they're wanting to make sure you integrate this situation with its lessons and not just the pain, right? Because sometimes when things don't pan out how we want, we just think about how unfair it is or how painful or how hurtful it is. And it's not to say that that's not the case. Like two things can exist at once, but it's like feel those feelings, but then also recognize, okay, I've learned a lot from this. I learned what I want in a relationship. I learned that I can walk away from things that don't work for me. I've learned how to get back in with, my feminine energy and my attraction and my, charm. Like there's just good and bad things that came out of all of this. So don't just focus on one or the other, but integrate. Tell me more about the Queen of Wands. Yeah. Yeah, some of you could have definitely been dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo here. Knight of Pentacles, the Emperor, King of Pentacles. Interesting, interesting. Okay. For your advice as well, I'm going to look into it some more, but I think they're saying that it might be beneficial to focus on, your career or focus on, what you want to do with, like if you're worried about money or if you're wanting to invest your time into some new things, your career path might be an interesting thing to think about. But I'm also getting the energy just because of this Emperor card here, King of Pentacles, and all that. Like, I feel like this, if this is like a business partner, a father figure, brother, family member, or someone that you were married to that is more of the masculine energy, I feel like they're telling you that they might come back around, but you need to focus on yourself. Let me see about this. Yeah, it's like you might be worried about money, and that might get you to try to go back. But I feel like that's not where you want to be. Tell me more about the Nine of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, the Emperor. Yeah, okay. We have the Page of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, the Moon card, and the Hermit. Yeah, I feel like the only thing that could get you to distract yourself or to question yourself is like the whole financial aspect of it, the security, the stability, the home, that kind of thing. And Spirit's saying, that's understandable, right? We all got bills to pay, especially if this is like a marriage and you have kids, like that's understandable. But with the Hermit, like you really got to trust yourself. You got to listen to your intuition. You have to honor your path, and it may be very different than what other people want for you, but you have to believe in yourself and your ability to overcome this and make something for your own self. Yeah, it's like you might be questioning walking away, but you are going towards a new chapter and there is going to be success there for you, but you can't compromise your truth and what you know to be right for you for money or security, stability, because you decide if you're secure and stable, not anything else. So yeah, just don't let your doubts, your fears, don't let that like have a chokehold on you and make you kind of move backwards. All right, so what's happening in your environment that's impacting you? You have the Four of Cups. So this could be somebody like ignoring you or rejecting you. Maybe just people are not understanding your situation. It's like I just feel like there could be like a lot of like negative attitudes or just people like, especially if you're leaving somebody, like you're recognizing like who your friends are and who was not your friend. Like people's loyalty is clear at this moment. There could be also like a lot of drama around you or just people trying to give you advice and guidance, and you're just like, I just want to focus on myself. I just want to do what's right for me. You know? Tell me more about the Four of Cups. The Eight of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so you could be moving or traveling, or maybe this person decides to move, or maybe like you feel abandoned because someone that could have really helped you during this time is moving or kind of walking away from you. Um, there could also be some sort of communication coming through here with the Eight of Wands. That does talk about communication, and you have your Page of Wands here. That talks about giving a message. So there could be some sort of message that comes in, and I'm seeing the Nine of Swords, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords. Like there's something that's bringing you a lot of anxiety. Yeah, I feel like someone's trying to get to you, or maybe like they're giving you some sort of news that you weren't expecting. Tell me more about the Eight of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune. It's almost like this is some sort of news that came in that kind of like solidified your choice. Justice and the Four of Pentacles. Okay. So this could have been, especially if this is a divorce, you're realizing that someone is not wanting to give you as much as you feel like you should be given. This could be somebody who's being very greedy, very selfish. But don't question your choices here. It's like this person is using a lot of, like, I feel like this person knows that their money is something that you benefited from a lot. And so that's like the one weapon they have against you. So they're using it. That's what it feels like for me. Mm-mm-mm. But I'm just being reminded of that 4-1-7 of Cups. That's not something that you would want out of a partner, even if things went left. So don't question yourself or hold yourself back because they're using this tactic against you. use this as an example to get you even more clearer on what you want in the next chapter. Okay, so your hope or your fear, we have the Two of Cups. Okay, so this feels more like a hope, like you want a balanced partnership, you want equal give and take. You want someone that's going to respect you and honor you just like you respect and honor others. And I feel like you really want your partnership to feel balanced. You don't want to feel like someone is the authority figure over you, or that someone like is gonna like try and check you or anything. Like you want mutual respect. That's not asking for a lot. That's all I'm saying. Tell me more about the Two of Cups. Hmm. Okay. So there could have been a part of you that wanted this marriage, this relationship, this long-term connection, because I know for some of you this doesn't involve like a marriage. It can involve a business partner, a friendship. There's some sort of connection where it just didn't end right and you really tried to make it make sense, but it wasn't. I do think that you really wanted to try to make this work, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And you have the Tower, like this was not something that was sustainable. You weren't going anywhere. You were just repeating, 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 repeating. And your soul has had enough of it. And it's time for you to break free. Okay? Because unfortunately, you did try really hard and you gave a lot, but you were dealing with someone who will keep taking. Like this person is insatiable, you know? So you decided it's time for you to walk away. And that's just the case here. Like not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Soulmates, some of them have, timers on them. And it's not to say that you did anything wrong or that there's anything that could have happened to avoid this, because the Tower is like the universe coming in to make things, to change things up, right? So it was inevitable. And honestly, just take it for a lesson learned and keep it moving. So the final outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. So especially if this is a divorce where like the financial tactic is being used, like you're going to be okay. You're going to get, what you're meant to receive. And I just see you're ready to have a new start, rebuild your home, rebuild the connections within your family, and just, maybe even focusing on career again, or just things that, that you're passionate about. Tell me more about the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Swords. Yeah. They're saying like keep following your truth, because you are going to have that security and that stability. And this is going to be a beautiful opportunity to restart and really build it how you want to build it. Like you have autonomy. You get to decide what the foundation is like and how you're going to invest and how you're going to plant things and all that. Like you get to decide what this new start looks like for you. See, I like it. It's reversed now. You walked away and now you're going towards that fulfillment. You're going to be really proud of yourself too. Like, I feel like you're going to realize how much other people look up to you, and it's going to make you want to do what's right even more. Not what's right for other people, but what's right for you. I like it. It's hard, but it's going to be good. It's going to be worth it. All right, we're going to close it out with some oracle messages for you. And if this resonates, let me know with a like, a comment. Definitely subscribe. All of that helps the channel grow. And I always love to hear from you guys. And share this video with a fellow Aries if you don't mind. All right. So we have number 17, consciousness. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. Yeah, I like this. See, it says multidimensional aspects. So that's kind of like what I was saying, like don't just take this as the pain of it, but focus on what you have to be grateful for. Focus on what you're learning about yourself and how you can become wiser through this situation. It's easy to just say, like, oh, that sucks and this is painful, so now I'm mad. But, take that a step further and being like, okay, so what's the purpose of this anger? What's the purpose of this hurt? Because everything happens for a reason. All right, we have number 32, Merkaba. The frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experience into our present to serve our highest purpose. I like this. To some of you guys, I'm feeling like some past life regression. You might benefit from like some of those ceremonies where you remember your past lives. Yeah. I do feel like you might want to reach out to like an elder or someone like that's just a little, like I'm feeling someone that's mystical. Like maybe you have someone in your family that's a little bit more mystical than others, like an older woman. But it's just like you got to remember who you are, where you come from, because this is a big moment in your life, but it's not your defining moment. And I think that if you tap into past lives or Akashic records or just remembering things from childhood, you'll remember that you're a lot more powerful and everything really does happen for a reason. All right, last card. Number 23, dynamic. The frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. Beautiful. I do feel like all of these cards, all three of them, are about like, taking one thing and another and bringing it all together to serve your highest purpose. So I feel like the spirit is asking you to recognize how, even though this is difficult, how is it serving you? What are you gaining from this? Because there's going to be a point in your life where you reflect on this and you're like, wow, that was hard, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got through it. And I see now what was the purpose of it. And I know it's a lot harder to see the purpose of it when you're in the midst of it and you're feeling all of it, but there's a lot of different elements here and spirit's asking you to take them into consideration. All right. That is your reading, Aries. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated, I already said that, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and all that good stuff. But if you would like more content, I do have all of my social media down below. I also have my website. That's where you can go to book a personal reading, an alchemy healing ceremony where we turn your pain into power, and my newsletter. You can sign up for that. It's a beautiful way to get the readings directly to you, and I always pair them with other spiritual guidance, meditations, affirmations, rituals, all that cool stuff. So check it out. But thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.